Did you at least get a new phone for your birthday? Like that's a silver lining, right?
Yeah, but that's sad though too, because you're like, I had to go spend money on my birthday to get me a new phone.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Deep South Podcast. I'm your host Desi.
And I'm your other host, Mirto.
Join us for a conversation about the outdoors, where we talk about our experiences and what we've learned mostly not to do. Pull up a chair around the campfire and let's get into it.
What's going on, fam? Thanks for tuning in again. My name's Mirto.
My name's Desi.
And this is the Deep South Podcast, where we talk about everything outdoors. If it's in the outdoors, we want to do it. We want to have fun doing it.
For sure. Yeah, and I just want to say thanks to all our constant listeners. You guys are the reason we continue to do this. Today, we actually have a special guest with us. We're gonna be talking to her, getting her side of the story on her side of Texas.
It's true. It's true. We got Miss Ashley with Flow Paddle Co.
Yeah, and Ashley, she's the owner of Flow Paddle Co. And she's going to be telling us her story, how she came about all this. And so, Ashley, thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, for
Likewise.
sure. So just to kind of jump right into it and kind of get going, that way we get all the jitters out, right? How long have you been kayaking personally?
I've been kayaking now for about 7 years, which isn't that long, but I've been a water bug my whole life. I think I was a fish since I was little. I always loved the water, so we spent most of my time when I was a child in the water, in the lakes and the beach and the river. I mean, we went everywhere, so wow. I've always loved the water, and I actually took my first kayaking trip in Riverside Park. I went with Jerry's Kayaks, and I took my two boys and asked him if the river was safe and if he thought that they could go on the river. And it just turned out to be a really great little stretch for me with little ones.
Yeah. And so Jerry's Kayaks, were they kind of like your predecessors, or how did that?
I actually bought the current fleet that I have from Jerry's. Couple of additional boats I've gotten, but yes, I've bought his inventory. He decided that it was time for him to retire, and I mean, the building that he was located out of in the park was actually damaged by Hurricane Harvey, and it was never repaired or replaced. It was so bad that it's to the point that it would need to be torn down and rebuilt, and it was never taken care of. And the building that I'm in was just recently vacant because Parks and Rec moved to a new building. And so what we took, I mean, we're not a business that has a lot of stuff that can't get wet. So it could potentially flood where we are, but we're not too concerned with that since we have boats.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you could just paddle out to where we need to go.
Exactly.
Wow. No, yeah, so that's awesome. So so you've been kayaking so for a while now, right? We can say.
Yes.
Much longer than us, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little insight, we've only been doing this for about 2 years now.
Has it been 2 years? I feel like it's honestly only been 1 year. Like everything has just kind of
happened.
Yeah. But I mean,
okay. So have you kayaked all the different types of water? Because I think that's what's okay. Because when I went to the ocean, and I recently went there last year with my boys to Costa Rica, and when we got in the ocean, it was a whole different animal.
Yeah.
I mean, you really had to paddle in swells of water to get from one side to the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a good arm workout. And then on the way back, it felt like it took you a little bit better, but you start to realize how tiny you are in this big, massive stretch of water, and how far it is, and how that water can it determines which direction you go.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's completely different. So like the adventurous to me says the beach is where it's at, but because our river is very calm in comparison, but it's a nice day in our local park, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and kind of like what we were talking about before we started. We're kind of talking about the grass is always greener, right? And so like down here, we started in our local bay. So the waves are pretty big. And so yeah, we kind of know what you're talking about when it comes to it being a bit different. And then I've kayaked in the Gulf. And so yeah, the waves there, they get up to about 4 or 5 feet tall, right? And trying to get a kayak over that is it's a bit difficult.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
that's the only way I can think of putting it.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's for sure it's fun. And so, but going to like the Guadalupe River, it's definitely it's a change of pace, right? And so, I think
it's relaxing. You're floating and just, using your paddle to kind of guide side to side. I mean, you can row it and, do it and get that good workout, or you could just relax and enjoy it. And that's what most of my customers do. They come and they just want to relax on the river, and they want to be in a boat because they're weary of what's in the water.
Yeah.
I think most people ask me, are there alligators in the water? Are there snakes? And yes, there are alligators and snakes in every river. I mean, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
We got some in the bay over here.
Yeah, you're going to see that in the water, but it's rare that you have an interaction with those things. It's just like if you go to the ocean, I mean, yes, there are sharks in the ocean, there are fish, and no telling what else, but you still go and enjoy it because it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're more protected in a kayak anyways because you're above the water.
Yeah.
So, you see something you don't like, you just paddle a little faster.
And, and so kind of like what you were saying a little while ago, how it being a bit different and in the river, you can kind of like relaxingly flow down the river, right, and float down.
Right.
How'd that work for you, Des?
It didn't. So our last episode, our listeners might remember, we talked about my trip to Victoria and what happened, what all happened there. And yeah, it was fun. It was an adventure, right? But I did end up flipping my kayak a couple times.
Oh no! That's the worst. Did you lose anything?
I did actually. I did. I ended up losing one of my action cameras that I was using to shoot a video. Yeah, so I was pretty bummed out. Yeah, but it was part of the it was part of the adventure, and so yeah, it was part of the whole thing. And although I was kind of upset at the time, now I kind of look back on it. And, it was fun,
It was fun, minus me losing this expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, right.
On my birthday, right after I bought the business, I got it in early September. I bought all of the boats, and then my birthday, September 21st, I had all my friends get together. We got a big cookie cake with, a fleet of 21 kayaks and rainbow colors, and it was just. To me, it was almost like my own little personal birthday grand opening.
Yeah.
And get all my friends on the river. We're having a great time. One of my friends, he loses his phone. And immediately I'm like, how did you lose your phone? Like, that's so silly. Like, you're supposed to have it in a phone case and, protect it. Well, so mine's in a phone protector, and I'm taking pictures, and then I get caught in these trees, and, there's spiders, and I freak out, and then overcorrect, flip over, and then my phone and its protector just sink to the bottom of the river that I can't see in. So that protector does nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it protects it from water, but it still sinks.
Yeah.
So... now I know, like, we need floating cases.
Yeah.
I even bought some floating cases. They don't work very well. So, it's all trial and error. I just keep buying stuff until I find what I love.
Yeah.
And,
Did you at least get a new phone for your birthday? Like, that's a silver lining, right?
Yeah, but that's sad, though, too, because you're like, I had to go spend money on my birthday to get me a new phone. Like,
that's fair.
Because you always have the best... Well, I had the best phone. Like, it was the year before model of the, the Apple iPhone 10 or whatever. And I was like, I don't need this 11 Pro Plus. And now, or Max or whatever it is. And I ended up with it. At least I got it in like the Mandalorian green.
Oh,
like,
nice.
It's a cool color.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
very nice.
I wasn't totally bitter about it. And and I lost like 1,000 contacts. And I realized in that too, that it was time to, you know, just let go of some of those people in your life. Yeah. Like, it's a great way to clean house.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And so, so we're kind of talking about some of the, I don't want to say negative things, but maybe some of the things that make it interesting, right? When it comes to kayaking.
Oh, well, that's one of them. Yeah, flipping your boat. So I'm sorry.
No. And it, like I said, it's all part of the experience, right? You learn from your mistakes. But so considering that, what made you kind of want to get into kayaking? Like, what sparked that to go from starting your first kayaking adventure to now owning Flow Paddle Co. How did that happen?
Well, I think the hurricane happened, and then I kept calling Jerry to see when he was going to reopen. And I think I was kind of stalking his page. And it's funny because I had mentioned to my friend, I think the last trip that we had gone on, that like, I would like to do this. Like, I love this. And then he didn't reopen, and it had been a year after the hurricane, and nothing was moving forward. And so I think I was at a time in my life, my dad's best friend, he had just passed away. And I leaned on him a lot in life as like, he looked after my children. Wow. And was, like my alternate father figure. So he's my dad's business partner, like growing up. And it was just, I think a time where I realized that like life is short. And, you know, we had talked about it. It was the last conversation that we had is he had said that I think you should do that kayak thing, because the last call that I had made to Jerry, he said he wasn't going to reopen. Wow. And I just thought, you know, Victoria needs this service. It's not even really about what I want. It's just that it was a really amazing thing for us to get to do, and it was affordable, and I could take my kids. And I mean, even if he didn't have a boat that was big enough for all three of us, then we could hook on a tube to the back. I mean, he made it to where it was this really great, enjoyable experience every time we went to the park. I mean, he had bikes down there, and I felt like that it's such a pretty place. It's such a pretty place to be at, like a local park. But if you don't have those things with you, then you don't get to experience the bike trail, or you don't get to go kayaking. And like I said, I had never even been kayaking before I went with him. And so I don't know, when all that happened, it was just instantly, I knew this is what I'm going to do. I mean, I quit my day job and I said, I'm going to open up a kayaking business. But I needed someone to be able to look after my kids, and well, that's my responsibility. So I can be mommy and run a kayaking business.
For sure. That's awesome. So like, you know, kind of like an all-in-one, you get to do what you love and still get to enjoy your family.
Yes, I get to be mommy, and it's great. Like, I mean, and especially this year, because I did have to bounce back and forth between being teacher and mommy. And I mean, we've remote learned multiple times, and not by choice, it's just the way it is. I mean, the schools are shut down, and you just had to adapt. And we work from home, and then we worked from home whenever it's not busy at work, and whenever it's busy at work, we work, you know, from work. And my kids are great too, because they've learned to just adapt throughout this year as well. Because I mean, that's just what you have to do this year. I mean,
for sure.
And my 15-year-old, he's great. I mean, he made a bunch of money over the summer helping out. He makes money every time he loads and unloads a kayak. So I mean, he was. Yeah, it was a great bonding experience for us. I mean, now he has a new interest in going to school to do business, because he's seen business now. So
that's good.
I don't know, it sparked an interest there. So
that's awesome.
I don't know, it's been great. Like, it's funny how life will throw you a curveball. Like, I mean, it seemed like the end of the world when, or we call him Birch, when he passed away. I mean, I've known my entire life, and it seemed like it was just so bad, but then so much good came from it. I mean, he always jumped on whatever venture that my dad was going on. And so if my dad wanted to be a contractor or a metal fabricator or wanted to be a drag racer, he invested in whatever my dad's dream was. And this was my chance to do that for myself. It was like, you know what, now I'm going to invest in my dream. I'm going to, take the knowledge y'all gave me, and I'm going to make this happen. And we're going to go into business and, and I was talking to my son about this the other day. We get to do something that most people don't get to do. I mean, every customer that comes to see us is happy, for starters. We have a great clientele because they want to be where we are. They want to be having fun in the park. I mean, our job is all about having fun. It's recreational. I mean, we kayak, we have disc golf, we're getting scooters. I mean, we have bikes. I mean, it's all about having fun and being outside and, COVID, to combat COVID, you get some vitamin D and you get that naturally doing our job. So, I mean, it's been really a great year as far as, just going through the hard times, but it's been great for us too. I mean, we've met so many people and we've had so much fun. We've gotten involved in so many events here in town. Like we were part of the Victoria Symphony had a duck safari. Wow. Yeah, and that was really cool. They dumped 10,000 rubber duckies into the river.
Wow.
And then, it was a race, and on the bottom, it has a number, and then it has a little tube that goes into, and they pull out 3 of them, and you have your winners, your main big winners. And it was really awesome, to be a part of that. And just all these other local organizations were involved as well. And so they too made money off of that event, which was great because so many organizations and just local businesses here need that money right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just been great. Like, I'm seeing how the community really works together as a team, and I get to be a part of it. And I don't know, I don't know, it's very humbling. The whole year, the whole experience, it's been really good because, like I said, we got through it. We've seen a lot of businesses that we love close in the last year, which is sad. We lost our laser tag place here.
Oh, man.
And that's the end of the world for my boys.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never played laser tag.
Yeah, no, laser tag is great. We got a local place here that we got to try out sometime.
We have a laser tag place?
We do, yeah. But we'll talk about that another time.
See, y'all should video yourselves doing that because I'm pretty sure anybody would watch y'all podcast and do some laser tag.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought
that's a good idea.
We should try it. Wow, so we've kind of talked about some of the different hardships, right? That come associated with our present time, right? And so considering those things, what makes you continue with kayaking, enjoying the adventure, enjoying your business that you've started? What makes you continue to want to do those things?
I think we have a lot of hope for 2021, and maybe that's part of it, is that you just keep going, wow, if we could do this in the year that we had, what can we do in a year where we're running at full capacity? There's so much room for growth now, and I don't know, I have a different confidence from the beginning of year to the end of the year as well. At the beginning of the year, you're shaky, you're like, I've never done this before, how's this gonna go, are people gonna come? You just kind of, and now, well, I know the people come, and I know what months are going to be our busiest, and it was kind of like I expected. I figured the business would just slow down substantially in November, to February. But come March through October, we should pretty much be busy. And you just kind of hope that you make enough in those months but then also you get involved in other things. Like I said, my new goal is getting new merchandise and stuff that we can sell. Yeah. And I want people to be able to experience a high quality boat, and then a lot of people call me and they want to know what kind of boat should I get? What do you like? What would you buy? And it was funny because over the summer I couldn't buy a boat. I couldn't get a boat. So I'm telling people, I'd love to be a boat dealer and a bike and bicycle dealer, and I want to, rent and sell things. And I couldn't even get this stuff, and that just gives you that like I said, it's humbling. It's like it gives you a moment to realize, like, we'll get that stuff next year
Yeah.
when we're in full force. This year, like, we're getting how this all works. Like, we use a booking platform called Fair Harbor, and I mean, it's, everything's intimidating a bit, at first.
Yeah.
And we got this snow cone, little tropical snow. It's a food truck, and we put that outside, and that goes through health department. And I've never dealt with health department or, set up a restaurant style business, and you have to go through all the same steps of being a restaurant. And I'm like, we sell ice and, with some, syrup on it. Like, that's not a big deal, but no, it is.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot. Like, I think in the last year, I at the beginning, I had to become a contractor so I could work on Birch's house.
Wow.
And then it's like I had to become a restaurant manager, and then I definitely want to book, trips. And so I wanted to go this whole, like, trip advisor way, and wanted to be able to, do that for people. And it's like all these things that I want to do, and it's like all these things are happening throughout the year. And I was like, my title has changed and broadened so much over the last year. It's just, we're trying to do it all. We should do well even on our off months.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what your business card is going to look like after that.
Yeah. It's going to be like a 30-page long...
Something like that. Really tiny text.
Yeah. It would just shrink down my resume into a business card. It's ridiculous.
So, being in this time, and then I think that comes associated with being a business owner. It's kind of having to be like a jack of all trades type of thing, right? And so, it's difficult, but I think the adventure pays off for itself. I would say.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm a small business owner myself, and so
awesome.
and so it's definitely it's hard and challenging at times, but it's rewarding in its own way. So
Yes.
So it's nice to see how that kind of plays into your overall story, right? As far as kayaking and then opening up Flow Paddle Co.
Right.
It's like a piece of the puzzle. It takes all these pieces to work together so we can do this, what we love. I mean, because I couldn't just bank on that right now. I mean, it's you have to stay busy. My boyfriend, he helps out and helps load and unload kayaks as well. I mean, we have to carry them. I'm currently working because with the city, like I intend to propose that we make some adjustments to our park so people can pull out their own boats more effectively. And so, you just, you're always trying to make your job easier, but also make it to where it helps the rest of the people that go down there. I see what the problems are. People want to scale their fish down there and there's no place to do it. I mean, you start to see just by working with these people what they need. And I think that it's been just a really great experience to see all the different types of people at the park and all there for different reasons, and they all gather and visit. I mean, everyone kind of becomes your friend down there, and it's I mean, people are fishing. I mean, they're kayaking, they're boating on little John boats. I mean, it's neat. Then there's some days that I go down the river and there's practically no one on the river. I see no one, and it feels like you're all to yourself in this, in nature, surrounded. I mean, you see deer, and then you'll see cows, and and they're on the side of a cliff, and you're just like, how did that even happen? But I mean, it's neat. It's kind of nice. Like, it's a great place to relax and just get away from it all.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're going to take a small break to hear from our sponsors.
Oh, we have a sponsor.
We do have a sponsor, and so we're gonna take a small break to hear from them, and we'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, just to interject real quick and tell you guys about our sponsor, Anchor.
Yeah, we've been using Anchor since we got started with this, and we love it. It's free, and you get everything you need in one place.
Yeah, for sure. You can record, edit from your phone or laptop. And especially for us, kind of starting out recently, it's just been a really good way to get started. Makes it very easy, very simple. It's just all around great app.
Oh yeah. And I mean, Anchor helps you out so much. They're your first sponsor. And I mean, you get paid with no minimum listenership.
Yeah. You first episode right out the gate, you could start getting paid.
For sure. And they even help you put the podcast on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and, whatever other, places you're listening to podcasts on. I'm sure they go as far as that. So.
Yeah. It's just this great place where everything's kind of all in this one easy to use app.
I feel like you're spreading a little too thick there. It's a great app. Download it now or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, welcome back. Thank you, Miss Ashley, for hanging out and talking with us during that little break. It was very fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And very insightful, and I realized that I am not as eco-friendly as I like to think that I am. But
okay.
The gear is important. It's expensive.
Yeah. No, and that kind of brings up an important topic, which is being, kind of learning from your mistakes, right? That's a big part of it. And so that actually leads me to our next question that I would like to ask you, which was considering, the good and the bad, right? Considering these things, what's the ultimate goal that you have in mind with Flow Paddle Co?
I think ultimately we want to expand, and we want to be in other locations. I have a nephew that helped build the website. He's the one that built the website.
Okay.
And yes, he lives in St. Pete's Beach. And so it'd be nice to have a Flow Paddle Co down there. So we would have a reason to go visit him frequently.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's really great because he just helped out in forming the business, and then just really boosted my confidence so much. I mean, after Bertram passed away, he was just really there to get, fired up about this business and how it was going to grow and where we wanted it to go. And one of the places that I have lived away from Victoria is Las Vegas. And I think that having like something like that there would be really great too. Mm-hmm. They don't currently, not the way that I want to offer it and where I want to offer it. So I've thought about, having that be a reason to make us go there, because if I have a location there, then, I could have a friend run it, and I have plenty of friends there that would love to do that. And I mean, it really is great because you can do this business, built around your family and your schedule. I mean, we have a little bit of flexibility, and then, I mean, it's just, like I said, we intend to grow, and we'll have people working for us a lot more in the next year. I think Jerry had about 5 people that worked for him. Wow. This year. We kept it very small because, sure. We were able to do it as a family, and then just when we needed extra people, we reached out to friends or people that had worked for Jerry. And so, nobody knows the business better than them because they did it for years. And so that was really cool too, because I mainly had them work events with us where we needed more people. And usually we're donating our time. It's funny because a lot of people here are willing to do that. Like, they'll donate their time to, an organization, fundraiser or something that's going on. If they need kayakers, like that duck event, they needed people to literally hunt ducks. So it was fun to be on a kayaking rescue mission. But ultimately my goal is that we get to expand, because my oldest son, he's 15, and he wants to live somewhere else, and Vegas is definitely on his radar. So I just think that I want to encourage and support his dreams as well, but also have a practical livelihood, there for him as well. If sure. They didn't, or just while he goes to school or whatever. So it's just, he'll know the business very well at that time. So I think
I'm sorry.
That's been I think that's just really what I'm working towards. That's kind of my three-year goal, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, this year, I mean, I just want to acquire more and more equipment. I mean, there's a lot of really great gear out there. And I have just been, surfing the internet, trying to find the best boats. I mean, I found boats that are made in the USA, and they've got a really great, business built around family as well. And so I love watching, those businesses. And you feel like they're easier to connect with, like, especially because we're on the same page and they like to do the same thing. You get to know these people, these vendors, and they become like your family as well, like the customers, the vendors, and you see what they're doing. I just think that we'll bring some of these things to Victoria that people haven't experienced yet.
Yeah, for sure. And so, like, it sounds like a lot of the things that you're talking about is kind of like trying to get people to enjoy the outdoors more, maybe, especially the
kayaking and I mean scooters. There's lots of people here that have never gone on one of those little scooter rides in downtown Austin, and until I had done it, I didn't have a love for it. Until I experienced Jerry's kayaks, I didn't have a love for it either. And so I think we'll really work the next few years with getting together with the community and making sure that they get to enjoy this new local activity and grow it here, and then get bigger to where we can expand other locations and replicate this business in those areas.
Yeah, and kind of like, and I think that's where we have a common goal, because kind of like we were mentioning before, the whole purpose of this podcast and of our YouTube channel is just to encourage people here locally and I mean anywhere that we can reach them, right? To encourage them to enjoy the outdoors. You don't need all the gear, right? And so we have a great representation here between us of what you need and don't need. And so it kind of sounds like you're kind of along with that goal as well, and getting the local community to come together and enjoy the things that we have to our disposal, right?
Right, exactly. Enjoy what we, currently have. I mean, the river's been underutilized. I recently read that it was not deemed very usable, and that's unfortunate because it is a place you can go, do so many water activities. We even have an area of it called Pebble Beach, where people will go and swim around in that area, and it's sad for people not to think that it's not a treasure, because I don't think until you've experienced it, you realize that it's this, natural resource, and it's a beautiful river that you can, and then not even just here, like, do we have rivers? We also have other bodies of water that just surround this town. I mean, there's little inlets of, we have a little lake, like Lake Texano. We have Coletto, a reservoir. There's lots of different bodies of water. So if you do want to try it on the coast or whatever, Port Lavaca has beach access, Port O'Connor, and these are all within 30 minutes to 45 minutes away. Yeah. And it's a great experience. And we even service those areas because we know that people don't have, an $800 boat or $800 to spend on a boat that can hold you up in that kind of water and, that you can fish off of. But we do, and we can, we make sure you're set up with everything you need. And we recently realized this year we realized this year we needed paddle leashes on all of our paddles because we kept losing paddles. It's one of those things I would have never thought that you would lose a paddle, but it happens, and you're up a creek without a paddle. And so we got paddle leashes, and then everyone has to have a life jacket, but we've learned some people, they don't care to wear them. They're the orange ones. So you use your better quality ones for the people that are going to wear them. You start to realize who's going to, wear the gear and what is about the gear and who's not.
Yeah. I think I definitely, this past trip on the river, I realized how important it was to have the PFD and the paddle leash.
Yes. But you don't want that paddle getting away from you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's great that you guys are kind of having these things in mind and kind of thinking about, the customers like me that are gonna mess up and they're gonna do things wrong, right? But that's awesome. You mentioned scooters. Is this something new that you're going to be adding to your repertoire? I guess.
We're adding those to our fleet. Hopefully, within the next month. That's our goal right now, is to get 4 Segway scooters. So
Segway scooters. So are those like those electric ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, the ones that you can rent in the bigger cities and drive around, and everybody leaves them all laying over and everything.
Yeah.
We'll have those.
Wow.
That's really
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it'll be great.
Yeah. I went to Austin, probably last year, for some work again. So my work kind of takes me kind of all over the place, and so I actually got to do that. Rent one of those scooters to get me around town. And Victoria, the way it's set up, it's not necessarily a big town, but it's very spread out. And so.
Right.
And
they're following COVID regulations that they spread out like that.
Exactly. So yeah. They were doing it before it was cool.
That's right. That's right.
So that's awesome. And
yeah.
and so how did that come about? How did you guys decide, like, hey, this is something we want to do?
Oh, my 15-year-old. It's all I hear about. It's in my ear all the time. We need scooters. I mean, he wants a scooter so bad. And I just kept going, we're going to get scooters. I mean, from the moment that I started up, I said, we're going to get bikes and scooters and kayaks and tubes and paddle boards and paddle boats eventually. Wow. It was, this is what I want. And this is, where we'll get, we'll get to that point. I also want some of those docks that float so people can lay on those near Pebble Beach and they can relax on this. But I mean, this has been a year where you're trying to discourage socializing and everybody gathering in a place. So it's funny because you just you focus on the things that people can social distance and do, and scooters is just what should come next, because you can enjoy that even in the winter. I mean, we live in Texas. It's 65 degrees today and nice outside, at moments. And it's like you can go run around and ride on a scooter. And so the goal is to keep it in Riverside Park. And I'm hoping that that's what people will do, that they'll want to just ride them around, and that we have different areas that, just to kind of get back into. And later on, I'm hoping that we can work on some sort of deal where there will be special pathways for things like that as well. So that you can go through the wooded areas, like there are biking trails, you'll have scooter trails, basically.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, wow. I'm hoping that it'll just be a fun area to go and play on them, and just add it as another fun thing to do with your family when you're playing around. Like, a lot of people don't experience them otherwise, and this guarantees that they can't go over 20 miles per hour, so it's safer.
Right.
And I guess I just feel better about it because it's contained to a small area.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we'll have 4 of them to start with, and then grow it from there.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And so to kind of bring up a previous topic, I know you said you've lived in a couple different areas, right? And and one of those areas you talked about living in Las Vegas and a couple others. But then you come back to Victoria, which is still considered, I would say, South Texas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And so living in South Texas, and you kind of alluded to it a little while ago, it's 65 degrees, you were saying, and so it's nice at moments, right? And like today was, I want to say it was like 80 something down here. And so living in South Texas and kayaking or camping in South Texas, it can be a little difficult sometimes, right? Because of the heat. And so you guys being on the river, it makes it a little bit easier because you got the water, right? But so how would you describe to people who aren't from South Texas, how would you describe or what would you say it's like being able to kayak or camp down here?
Oh, see, this time of year is probably when it's the best time, is when it is going to be your cooler months, because when it's, sweltering hot in the summer, and I'm saying go between, October, November, and then December, could be hit or miss with the bad weather. But if if you just want to plan a day that a weekend looks good and the weather is right, I mean, we've had winters where Christmas Day it's 80 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I mean, you just never know what you're going to get here, and we haven't closed our business for even Christmas Day yet, because it's like, I mean, my boys, they wouldn't mind if we had kayakers on the water on Christmas Day. That's not going to make it a bad day for us to go put some people on the water.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we are open for those people too, I guess, right now, because the weather is, I mean, when you have a nice sunshiny day, you want to get on the water, and we understand that. We want to be out there as well. So I guess we're still trying to accommodate people and what they want to do. I mean, I think a lot of people in Texas just think that when it's winter, we don't do outside things, or it gets dark early. So that means, we don't do, stuff as much outside. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, we've had some really great sunshiny days that would be perfect for being on the water. Yeah. It's just, I think people think that they're going to end up in it. And sometimes it happens, I mean, you never know. You don't get to pick and choose when you flip, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I get it. Right? So on a scooter, you don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah,
you're not going to be getting wet. If it starts to rain, you just come right back, and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, for sure. And so, keeping that in mind about the weather and about maybe flipping your kayak, right? What are some tips or tricks or things that you would like to recommend to people who maybe are just starting out? Who are kind of having to deal with these same conditions where you never really know what the weather's going to be like, or even maybe you do, but you just you're inexperienced, right? So what would be something you would recommend to people who are just starting out?
Well, I check the river flow every day before people even get on the water. So I definitely recommend, if you're about to get on the water, you check the flow. And you want to know, if it, because we can end up be in a critical zone real fast in this area if we've had some rain. And so that's the first thing I do. And then, yes, check your weather. If it looks like it's going to rain in the next 2 hours before you get on the little stretch where we are, then we recommend don't get on the water. Just, and then if it starts lightning, you always want to pull off to this side, find a covered area, pull off to this side. Don't go down the river. Nobody wants to be struck by lightning, and that happens. Nope. So, I mean, and then also I think that it's best if you go kayaking, the buddy system. I mean, it seems like every time that it's been, and I'm not going to say every time. I have people that go out on the water and they're perfectly fine on the water by themselves. They're skilled. They've been doing this for years. I mean, I had a guy the other day, he's probably 75 years old on the water. Wow. And I felt secure with him on the water. But I've had people that are my age, and you could just tell that they've got that fear, and that's not good to be on the water by yourself. I mean, if something were to happen, you have a friend or someone looking out for you, then they can help out. So I think that's important. And if you are the least bit afraid, you should always be wearing your life jacket, and you should always be a swimmer before you get on a kayak. So, I mean, you should know how to swim. I mean, if you can't swim, don't do it. It's not worth it. Like, I think that's my biggest fear as an outfitter, is you just don't want anything to happen to anybody when they're on the water. And I don't know, most people I feel secure with. I've had a couple of instances, where it was a little bit scary. Something happened, it didn't go as planned. And, and that just stinks for people. So, and also I've noticed that there's certain places in our river. So we kind of give like a little briefing and everyone's kind of supposed to get that. We're working on getting that area cleaned up so that way it won't be so treacherous. I mean, people seem to get caught up in the same little area every time, and it's so I guess that's another thing is we try to become part of the people who fix the problem. So we try to work with the organizations that can make those changes as well. But I mean, don't be underprepared. I have it in our waiver, and I think on the website, I mean, pretty much everywhere. These are the essentials. You need to have this before you go on. I mean, it's like you need a dry bag, you need sunscreen, you need water, you need a cell phone protector. Like, you need this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, take these things with you, head protection, sunburn on the water, dehydrated. That just makes for a bad day.
Yeah, for sure.
And then if you fall out of a kayak, you should know too, because it can be tricky to get back in, that you want to extend your arm and go across and pull yourself up over the far side. So I think that's important, and something that I learned at a kayak clinic here.
Wow.
That so many people don't realize. They try to pull from the side that they're at instead of reaching over and using their entire body to pull themselves up, and then makes it a lot easier. So because I think there's that moment of freak out when you flip out. I flipped, and where's my stuff, and oh my goodness. I mean, we've had it to where people freak out, and then it's like, oh, I can stand here. And
I definitely have that.
Yeah, just put your feet down and pick up your stuff. So I mean, it's kind of funny because our river really isn't deep for the most part. I mean, usually it's deeper in your January, February, and then it starts to just go down. I mean, our summer hot days in Texas, I mean, wear layers. That's always good, and I always wear a swimsuit, and then usually some type of shorts that is made out of the material that's like a swim trunk, so it dries fast. Because I mean, you never know, you might get wet.
For sure.
I mean, I've had moments where I just paddle at something for fun and get wet, or I get wet because it is hot.
For sure.
You end up sweating and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, or if you're like us, where we don't know how to paddle, and so we splash everything.
I feel attacked right now. That was a little too personal.
You probably saw 0 turtles then, right?
Well, I saw one.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was right after I lost the camera, so I wasn't doing a lot of paddling. I was just sitting there. But no. Well, thank you so much. We got one more question for you, and that would be if you could tell our listeners anything at all, any question that maybe I didn't ask you, what would that be?
Go after your dreams. You only have one life. I mean, that would probably be what I would say, because I mean, it has been an interesting year, and it was rough, but it was great. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, it doesn't get any better, I guess, in my realm. Like, I actually got everything that I could have possibly have wanted. So I feel very blessed, and I just feel like I would want all of my customers and all of the people that have supported me to know that, I mean, they really made my life everything that I could want it to be. And so, I would encourage people to do that, whatever it is that you want in life, go after it and get it. I mean, I'm involved in so many things, but I do that because, I mean, they're great things to be involved in. I mean, I will probably go back to school next semester because I need classes on marketing and advertising. And it's funny because you think, like, there's been throughout life, I mean, I've just done so many things, but there's always more things to learn in areas that you want to work on and grow in. And I have a lot still to accomplish. Like, I mean, I think your dreams, they just kind of, I don't know, they snowball over time. Like maybe, you get one thing and then it's like, well, now I want to do this. I mean, I wanted to get this business running, and now I want Segways. And that felt like a really big deal for me, just to make that call this week. And, it was funny because I emailed them and then they want to set up a meeting, and it just felt like, wow, I feel so professional. I wasn't expecting this to go down like this, and I have a Zoom meeting, and it's funny because I just think that too, that, you know, you don't meet in person anymore. Everything is via video. And I mean, you're kind of selling yourself on every meeting or whatever. You're trying to tell them why that they should invest in you and believe in you and what you want to bring, you know, to the town and to, you know, to this business and where we want to go. And it's funny because I think that I've just learned so much and grown so much in the last year, but there's still so much I want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So and keep working on it all.
Yeah.
And I would just encourage anyone to do that. I mean, find your passion and go after it.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for the encouraging words here at the end. And so, guys, if you get the opportunity to visit Ashley over at Flow Paddle Co in Victoria, do it. Rent some kayaks, enjoy the Guadalupe River. Tito and I may be doing that pretty soon here. Hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah, I'd love to. Hell yeah.
So,
yes, y'all come back and see me, please. Come kayak, and we'll get you on the river for free. I'd love to have y'all.
Oh, well,
that's an incentive right there.
Yeah, we'll be there tomorrow.
It's nice to get to do free things sometimes.
Yeah.
So come kayak and
yes.
can visit more.
Yes, for sure.
You can experience river the way that I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. For the people listening, where can they find you on social media and things like that?
Okay, well, start with our website at flowpaddle.co, and then check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and connect with us. Give us a call, and we pretty much answer 24/7.
Okay, awesome.
Well, thank you so much. We're gonna get ready to close out here. Guys, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please continue to share, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. And feel free to let us know maybe about some of your kayaking adventures and what you thought about Ashley's story over on Instagram at GetOutside19 and on Facebook. So as we close out, we have this tradition where we say, don't forget to get outside. So Tito, would you like to give her the toss up to say get outside?
Please.
So guys, don't forget
to get outside.
All right, guys, we'll see you later.